What's up, guys? So in today's video, we're gonna talk about props and costumes. Yeah, I'm gonna show you some tutorials on how I made some of the props from Stranger Things for photo shoots and just all around fun set pieces. And I'm gonna show you some of the Stranger Things collection that I have, such as the props that were not screen used from the show, but props that they used in the show. Let's get into it. It's gonna be a fun one. Welcome to the front area of the studio, the cool area. It's a new addition and it's actually still growing. Hang on. I feel like Will Smith from Men in Black. Okay. I love Stranger Things. You guys kind of know that. I theme my videos for Halloween around Stranger Things. And I'm going to show you a couple tutorials on how I made some of these things here in just a second. It's October and it's still like 80 degrees outside. I love dressing up and cosplaying and all that good stuff. But I also want to do something a little bit my own, combining my passion for Stranger Things. So that's when I created the Spitfire Club. I wanted to kind of create my own characters within Stranger Things. But one of the ones that I created was my own Eddie. Put a little story to the character. And that being like a rival club to the Hellfire. And since this is an instant photography mostly focused channel, I wanted the club name to represent the hobby. And if you take an instant photography photo, what happens? It spits out of the camera, forming the Spitfire Club. Look at that thing. Isn't it so cool? You can join the club if you want. There's a link in the description below. And these shirts are only available to the club members. So Eddie has a particular look, and that is his Hellfire t-shirt, but also his vest. Yeah, and I wanted to make one as well. It doesn't have the Dio t-shirt on the back of the vest. I had this commissioned on Fiverr and it came out pretty good, but I wanted to have my own style and my own vest that was personalized to me. Put patches and things on here that represent my personality, but also kind of keeping the same aesthetic and style that Eddie went with on his vest. And his vest was mostly focused on music. So I did the same thing. I put my favorite band of all time on there, and that is the Black Keys. But I also wanted to be in the Stranger Things universe, and so on the front there is a patch for the Hawkins Middle School AV Club. And I would have been in that club if there was one in my middle school at the time. So it fits perfectly. I also added a Transformers Autobots logo just because I love the Transformers and was around in the 80s, and Stranger Things takes place in the 80s. So I figured it was a good match. So putting it all together now, ooh, look at that. My own little version or my own character within Hawkins, Indiana, aka Stranger Things. And the bandana is actually Eddie's bandana that he has in his back pocket and then wears in the final few episodes of season 4. And if you want to get this bandana, I found someone selling him on Etsy. I'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to get one for yourself. This is like impossible to do without an extra person here to help me, so I'm gonna do my best. With a lot of B-roll probably. But I wanted to show off a few things I have in this case. So this may look familiar to you for a lot of reasons. One, it's best known from Back to the Future. Marty McFly uses it. And I did a video on this recently. It's also used in Stranger Things. I was able to recreate the wanted poster for Hellfire. The little town was mobbing against them. I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to track down the Walkman that Max uses. This is the Walkman 8 that she does use, but there is one small difference, and that is with this maple leaf right here. This maple leaf means this is the Canadian version, and in the actual show, it's a star that represents the American version. I'm calling it the upside down version. And I actually have Robin, a little figure of her. I wish it was Max, I just never got her. But she sits in front of the Walkman and blocks out the maple leaf, so people don't notice technically the wrong model. Scoops Ahoy ice cream cup from the Stranger Things experience, because I think that's just too cool. This Funko Pop, this is the coolest thing ever. My friend Dave, you've seen Dave multiple times on the channel, more recently in the last few episodes of this series, but he made this for me. It's me dressed up as Dustin. How freaking cool is that? He swapped out the head, repainted some stuff. The Demogorgon, yeah, the actual Demogorgon from D&D. You may have seen these in the background of the last few episodes. It's been sitting on the back set. When Eleven needed to piggyback out of a pizza dough freezer, Mike made these for her to help her focus her psychic powers. These were made by Dave as well, and he's actually selling these currently on his Etsy page. You can get your hands on these, and he told me he's only doing like one more run of these and he's never making them again. So if you want a set of these, I would jump on it right away. These are amazing. He did an excellent job in creating these to where they are dang near perfect replicas from the show. He says they're not perfect replica, but come on, you take this and put it next to it. I mean, I'm calling this a dang good replica. And he did a video on this, so I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. My most recent acquisition, this is the correct model that is used for the walkie-talkies, but I haven't tested these myself, but it's okay if they don't work. I really just wanted them as a prop, and I got a really good deal. 2 of them for $50 each. These usually go for several $100s a piece. So even if they don't work, this is awesome, and it looks great on the shelf. And then down at the bottom, I've got the Hawkins Post newspaper that I recently found out I have one of the more rarer ones. I actually have 2, but it is a misprint from the Stranger Things experience. Yeah, they ended up replacing them with the fixes, as well as updating them to fit the season 4 plotline and a couple other things in there. I have the first one. It's kind of rare. I think that's pretty cool, but I do want to get the new one though. Might have to go back. Check this out. This right here is Conan the Barbarian sword. They used this in Stranger Things, the last episode, when Hopper fights the Demogorgon and just slices his head off. I've had this sword in my possession for the last 5, 6, 7 years, maybe longer. And I was reselling it. I had no interest in this. Been trying to sell this for years. And then I gave up trying to sell it. No one wanted it. And now, I don't want to sell it. Now it's canon in the Stranger Things universe, which leads me to these. Look at that. Ooh, look at this. And I'm going to show you exactly how I made these via a quick tutorial. If you want to make something like this for yourself, for your Halloween costumes and photo needs, whatever it may be. So let's start off with the spear. Yeah, this is a replica from the newest season. The gang makes a bunch of these in preparations to go into the Upside Down to fight Vecna, aka Henry, aka 1. And honestly, it was pretty simple to make. Is find a stick, and since it is October, Spirit Halloween is open. It's my favorite place to go to this time of year, and I took advantage of that. Now, in the show, they used serrated blades. This one is not serrated. I couldn't find one. This will just have to do. And they didn't have any solid silver knives. So what I did was I found one of those bloody knives, and I just spray painted it silver. And then did a little bit of weathering to it to make it look a little more realistic. Just kind of spritzed it with a couple different colors to give it some of the texture on the blade. And I actually used what's called gaff tape. It's a filmmaker's tape, and used that to secure it to the stick. And then I used twine, because that's what they used in the show, to cover up the tape for aesthetic purposes. And then that is it. How quick and fast and easy was that? And it looks cool on camera and in photos. And now for the shield, used by Eddie and Dustin. They had these to help fight off those bats. So it's just a trash can lid. The sad thing is you can't just go buy the lid by itself. At least in my area, I was forced to purchase an entire trash can just for the lid. But I guess I did need the trash can after all. So it worked out. I first drilled in random holes into the lid. Now I kind of just roughly spray painted it to give it a little bit of weathered texture. Theirs in the show is a lot more dirtied and weathered, and I'll probably spend a little bit more time getting it to where it looks a little bit more like the prop from the show, but this is just a quick and dirty way to get started. And I actually did use real nails. Yes, you would say that's not smart, that's very dangerous. But when I drilled the holes in, I inserted the nails and used hot glue to secure them in place. I found, kind of by accident, I put glue in the hole, and when I put the nail through the hole, it actually created a little rubber cap over the nails. It actually makes the nails safe. They're not sharp. You can bump into them, you poke them, and they're not gonna hurt yourself and others. So that was a happy accident. And then once the nails were in, I hit it with some spray paint, mostly to cover up the tips of the nails because it was hot glue, to make it look more realistic. And look at that, pretty realistic. And now you're ready to go fight off some demo bats. Pretty quick and easy and cheap. Now I of course have other costumes from this show. You guys have seen those. I've even worn some of those during this series, but I really want to more focus on some of the stuff I've created. Hopefully this video has inspired you to create your own stuff, or just hopefully this video was entertaining for you to watch. I know for me it was more of a show and tell type thing, and so I thank you so much for watching this video and tuning into this series. That's all I got for you today. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Now get out there, make some art.